All right, what up? This is Joe, and from me to you, my guest today, we got Rocky of Rocky and Roof. How you
Yeah,
doing, Rocky?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for joining me. And I'm glad to be at your spot today. I appreciate
Yeah,
you letting me pop up. And we kind of laughing because we've been having blooper after blooper, but we getting it going.
yeah.
That's what's up. But before we kind of get into you and your story and how you got into fashion and stuff like that, can you kind of share a little bit about your background? Maybe share like where you're from, maybe where your parents were from, or
Okay,
things
gotcha.
like that.
Yeah. So I was raised by a single mom. We're born and raised in Nashville. My
Okay.
entire family. She raised me by herself. We started out in South Nashville and then eventually ended up, I guess you would consider it northeast, because I ended up being in the Brick Church, Weiss Creek area.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was. My mom was one of those moms. She allowed you to be free. She wasn't strict on how you dress, how you want to wear your hair, and that kind of molded me into the creative I am today. Just her being able to be that person to allow me to be me as a child. Yeah, my dad was around, but not so much. He was one of the ones in and out of jail. But as I got older, that's when he got better and more involved in my life. So his last years on earth, I was able to at least, be more connected to him than I was as a child.
Yeah.
And then I got a stepdad who very hands on. So it wasn't like I was without a male figure in my life. He's very he's a very quiet man, so he allows you to also, just like my mom, be free, do what you want to do. So I love all three of the parents that I have in life, and I appreciate them for making me who I am. I'm from South Nashville as
Yeah.
well.
That's what's
Uh,
up. South Side.
I was born at Baptist Hospital, but I grew up in the projects. Didn't live that long, but I was one of the ones. Every weekend, every summer, I want to go to my cousin's house that live in the projects because that's where all the kids was
Yeah,
at.
it's
And
all
being
the
only
action
child,
was.
I didn't want to be out in White Creek, Tennessee. So that's where my roots are from, South Nashville, and I don't see myself going nowhere else. I love
That's what's
Nashville.
up. So speaking of sense, so like a lot of people now are coming in from everywhere. I guess Nashville's turned into a transit city. I guess a lot of job opportunity, housing market, it has exploded
hmm
and stuff like that. So it's changed dramatically. So kind of tell me something like from Nashville back in the day that you missed that we don't have today, and then something from that you like about Nashville now that you probably wouldn't even thought about that we'll have about 10,
Back
even
then,
10 years ago. Not to say
yeah,
when we were kids, you feel, because Nashville was like a dirt town. I think of when
yeah.
as a kid.
One thing I tell my little sister all the time, 'cause she's a teenager, I used to love having teen night here,
Yeah,
just in different places. They don't have that option now, and it's only because I feel like the city has become more commercialized.
yeah,
Because a lot of the places that, when I was a teen, a lot of places we hung out at was downtown,
yeah,
and but because it's more commercialized, you don't see that. But I feel like something that I do miss that we used to have back when I was young was Come Together Day. I love that.
yeah,
And I feel like this new generation, we're gonna end up doing something like that soon on a different level, but it's not really a anything in particular that I miss. It's just events that I miss that we
yeah,
used to have back in the day. And now what I do love, however, is the restaurants because I love to eat. So all these different types of restaurants, these different styles of restaurants that we did not have back then. I'm so glad we done had people from different ethnic groups to migrate here to be able to offer that now.
yeah. No, that's what's up. Yeah, there sure is a lot of restaurants for sure. 'Cause I take it myself. I like to kind of go out and eat different places. So I'm out every
Hmm
weekend, and you really, unless you just trying to go to the same restaurant twice or you know what I'm saying. There's so many places to go.
So
You
many.
can run around for months and not visit the same spot twice.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I also like the murals that we have around the city.
With the like the carriages.
The
Yeah.
paintings and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, the murals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. I
murals.
thought you said the murals like the like you know how they have like the horse ride
I'm
carriages.
country, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm country. But all the paintings that we have around the city, I think that's so unique.
Yeah.
Something that is like just a gem that our city has. Because I don't know, any other cities that have it, but the fact that you can actually go on a tour to go visit all these different paintings and the art around the city. Like, I don't know, I just love it.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah.
Like, now it started again. And they're starting to recognize a few different people because I see they just recently got the one for Quantity
Yes,
outside of me.
I
That was
saw
nice.
that.
And just
Yes.
a lot of different random visuals that you can kind of see throughout the city. And
Mhm.
like you can look up like in the news, like not in the news, like just on Google and kind of Google like the art places in Nashville, and
Mhm.
they'll take you like on a tour. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people do just for like the tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come take pictures. And I never would have thought Nashville would have been like
I
that.
know. It's
It's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
I love it though.
Me too. Me too. I like it.
Yeah.
So, kind of moving along. Let me, I guess, ask you. I guess about your since you were from Nashville. Tell me about your experience, like in school. I know you went to like uh, Whites Creek, and
Mhm.
then you ended up going to MTSU.
Mhm.
So, what was your major at MTSU?
It was actually apparel design.
Oh, okay.
So I actually majored in fashion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I guess, how did you get? Let's go ahead and talk about that. So, how did you kind of get inspired into fashion?
Um, just really, when I was a kid, my mom used to buy me 17 magazines, and I used to read through them, and just being bored, I just gravitated towards drawing the clothes in the magazine. I still have those sketches to this day.
Oh, for real?
Yes, I wish I had brought them, but I just knew I wanted to do something in the fashion industry, and I thought about styling, and I was like, that ain't me. So when I got to high school, she gave me the okay to start cutting up and bleaching and dyeing my clothes and my
Yeah.
hair and stuff. So I just went crazy. But I was like, I didn't want to go to an actual fashion school because I didn't want to pay that money. And then I changed my mind because I
Yeah.
had a cousin who did that.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me try this university. Tried it, and I was like, I'm gonna study fashion there. And I'm probably about the only one that graduated in my class with within that degree that's still sewing to this day.
Yeah.
So it's a passion. I love people who can be creative through their clothing and not care about what statistics say or what other people think. Like when you can go out there and be bold and be you and represent that in your clothes and also be tasteful at the same time, like that's a craft.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. So, like, I know you say you got like the I thought you said 17 different magazines, but it's a magazine called 17. Is that right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
17 magazine.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a teenage magazine.
Yes, I wasn't up on that. I guess that might have been just for women or
It
whatever, for
was.
girls.
Yeah.
But nah, that's cool. So, I was gonna ask you, like, even just picking fashion as like a major for school. I don't even know anybody else has done that. Most people pick
Yeah.
business or something. I wouldn't even think as MTSU even having like that type of degree. So,
Mhm.
who kind of told you about that, or you kind of talked about what inspired you to kind of get there, but how did you even,
Mhm.
I guess, decide to I guess, find MTSU and say, I'm going to go there? And what was it like, I guess, in that going to school with that particular degree? What types of stuff did y'all do?
Okay. So I actually chose MTSU because my mom was pregnant with my second sibling at the time, and I didn't want to go too far, but I knew I didn't want to go to TSU. And
Yeah,
TSU, the main reason I want to go there because you at the time you couldn't graduate with a degree in fashion. You
yeah,
could take it as a like an extra course, but it wasn't going to be your degree. And so discovered that MTSU had it as an actual full on bachelor's program. I was like, okay, well that's not too far. I could live there and still come home. And so, being there at first, it was uncomfortable because in kindergarten, I was the only black kid in my class because I went to a predominantly white elementary school. But I don't remember that experience. So when
yeah,
I went to college and actually experiencing it as an adult, it was uncomfortable because it was nothing but straight white girls. And you know that stigma, this black girl, what's she doing in here, and da da da
yeah,
da. So it was just I had got those vibes, but then you get cool with those girls. Plus, as the years goes on, there's other kids that come into the school, so it ended up being other black kids there. But one of my real best friends out of college is an Asian dude. Me and
yeah,
him clicked so tight. But the experience itself was awesome because my teachers were uh, well known in the fashion industry. One of them actually was a lingerie designer back in her day. But I enjoyed it. I wasn't one of those party goers in college. I did what I did, but I was mostly because the degree I had, we had to make garments every week. We had to, go on fabric field trips. Like we had to commit to certain stuff. In my junior year, we actually went to Europe for 2 weeks. So that was an experience of being able to be in fashion in another country that I absolutely loved. It was different. But yeah, I mean, MTSU was cool as far as being able to learn what I know now because I feel like had I went to a actual fashion school, it would have been just streamlined to maybe just couture stuff.
Hmm.
But I also offer alterations and know how to like do non couture stuff just because going to university I was able to be real rounded in my sewing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So.
that's cool. I was going to ask you about your Europe experience, but before I ask you about that,
Mhm.
like I guess what's one or two big things that you definitely know for sure that you got for, I guess, going to, I guess, that fashion program at MTSU that you know that you probably wouldn't have got. I know you said you're being kind of being well rounded with different
Mhm.
things. Like I said, we could say that's one. So what's another one that sticks out to you when you think about if I didn't probably didn't go take this route through MTSU to this fashion school, I probably wouldn't have been on this. Uh, what you think?
Mhm. Well, it was this one particular class I took. It was called felting. So
Okay.
I actually know how to make wool fabric, and
Okay.
that's something that I'm sure they wouldn't have taught us in the design school because there you just really learning to just make a garment. But I actually learned how to make fabric in one of the classes that I took. So if I ever got into wanting to make wool coats,
Yeah.
I will be able to cut out a middleman of fabric because I still remember and I still even got my college books on how to do that. So that
Yeah.
was one thing I really enjoyed. Now back in college, I was like, oh, I'm tired of doing this because
Yeah.
it's a lot of tedious work. But now I'm like, dang, I'm glad I did learn it because I got one up on people who did go to design school.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I like kind of noted like from previous interviews as well because I kind of asked like the same questions in most of my interviews, but like for the people when they say like when they one thing that they got that they learned and took away from was like that hands-on experience, I guess.
Hmm.
So that seems like something that you got as well with that learning to make that wool that you probably want to learn somewhere else and just
And I believe so because that part of so it's you go to a university but they got colleges within the university.
yeah,
That college was so small. So
yeah,
although, it was an actual degree I had, not that many people took that route because they
yeah,
think you can't make no money in fashion.
yeah,
But it was so small, so the classrooms were intimate, and we were able to get that one on one. I could call my teacher up, and it ain't even class, just to get help with something. So that experience was real good to be able to have that intimate connection with your classmates and the teacher and the professor.
yeah. Now for sure.
Hmm.
So tell me about the Europe experience. So like you said you all took like a 2 week trip to Europe. Like what type of
Hmm.
stuff what enhanced your fashion experience there while you were in Europe? Because I know the whole culture is different for sure. So you're seeing a whole
Absolutely.
variety of different things. So I guess kind
Hmm.
of talk to me about your experience. Like what takeaways did you have from going there? What did you see that you definitely don't see here?
Yeah, so we went to Barcelona for 1 week, and then we went to Paris for another week. The fashion there, it's almost like, well, and this was 10 years ago, so I
Yeah,
don't know what it is today,
for
but
sure.
they were so carefree. It's just like, and we were actually supposed to go to Tokyo, but that was the year that they had their really, really bad earthquakes and the tsunamis. So we got routed to Barcelona and Paris because we
Yeah,
were on our way to Tokyo. It was so crazy, but the fashion was just bold, outspoken. It's almost like I woke up and put on what I wanted to put on. I didn't care that I was coming to work today. This is what I wanted to put on.
yeah,
And that's kind of like one reason why that's how I feel like my clothes are inspired by that. Like, who cares that you going to the grocery store? If you want to be fly going to the grocery store, do you. And people
yeah.
shouldn't care about that. But I enjoyed the whole experience there. I actually like Barcelona better than Paris, which you would think Paris is fashion capital, but I feel like they were nicer there. And as far as like the food was
Yeah, for
better.
sure.
But the fashion in Paris was more high fashion, more dressy. And just because that's not my speed, I prefer more casual,
Yeah.
outgoing looks. That's what made me, draw to Barcelona more.
Nah, that's what's up. I'm just trying to envision in my head as you talk about it because I myself I haven't been to Europe yet. I got my
Yeah.
passport. I'm ready to go. So
Yeah.
hopefully we get that thing stamped soon and head on over there.
Yes, absolutely.
But what else was I gonna ask? So who kind of like I guess so far throughout your journey, who would be like your biggest mentor or inspiration that has, I guess, that you could look at and say, okay, this is the person I look up to. I like what they do with the clothes, or they might not even work with clothes in general. They just might be push you or something like that. Who would be your biggest inspiration?
So right now, and she's actually like my mentor. Her name is Ashley. Her brand name is Raya Marie.
Okay.
She's out of Atlanta, Georgia, and she inspires me because, for one, she told me, being a fashion designer, you want to find the most simplified way to run your business. Right now, the way I run my business, I have people set up a consultation, come meet me in person. We go over whatever they want. I make it. They come back for fitting, alterations, etc. It's too much, I guess, customer interaction where I'm
Yeah.
cutting back on making money. So she inspired me a lot because she literally took one design that she came up with and she maximized on that one design. And although her her dresses kind of look similar, they all have different aspects to them, I guess I would say. But she inspires me a lot to just be a go getter because she's one of the ones when she says she's gonna do something, she does it. Even if it's a year later, you can mark her word that she's gonna do it. And that's kind of how I am. I'm one of those ones. If I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Now it may not be as soon as people may want it to be.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it, and so I just appreciate her for always inspiring me to just keep moving forward. Don't worry about what's in the past is in the past. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah, not for sure. That's dope. So I guess you just kind of said something pretty interesting. I guess having one design and maximizing, I guess, five things off of it. Could you kind of maybe
Mm-hmm.
elaborate for people who might not even know what you're talking about? I know a little bit
Yeah.
about what you're talking about. I just ain't my
Yeah.
industry, but kind of break it down. You ain't got to go in depth though.
Yeah. So, like, I was trying to service everybody,
Mm-hmm.
kids, men, women, etc. And she was like, "Well, what is your best craft? What is your best work on?" And I was like, "You know what? I do my best work when I do dresses, formal, bridal, prom. Those are like my three things that I know for a fact I'm gonna kill it." And she was like, "Well, won't you just zone in on that?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna zone in on dresses." But then she was like, "What if you just design like a staple piece?
Yeah.
And maybe that staple piece change the sleeve, change the neckline, change the bottom part, but you still can look at it and tell it's your staple piece."
Yeah.
And what makes it easy is that not only do people identify you from that staple piece, it brings in more customers, but it's easier for you because here you are using the same look technically and just altering it.
Yeah.
So it's cutting back on your production time. It's cutting back on you being frustrated because you're trying to
Get a
please.
design.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So yeah. But I haven't gotten there yet. I can't say that because I'm still one of the ones trying to please everybody.
Yeah, you still, yeah, I can
You
understand. Yeah,
still trying to,
trying to create and it's,
yeah.
yeah, I
But
can,
I think eventually I get there one day.
yeah. No, that's cool. I'm gonna ask you a little bit more about that here in a minute, but
Okay.
I guess like post college, so you just didn't jump off. Well, you kind of been doing Rock and Roll for how long now? Cause I
Well, I used to go by a different name.
okay,
So I technically been suing since 2008.
2008. Okay,
Graduated college 2012, and at that time I was just doing small stuff. But I used to call my brand My Style Clothing.
okay.
But there's a designer here whose name is similar to mine, so I was like, let me change it. So I came up with Rock and Roof. Well, my uncle actually came up with it about
Okay.
3 years ago, and he was being sarcastic when he
Yeah.
came up with it, and I was like, wait a minute, what you say? So when he helped me come up with that Rock and Roof, it was like I took off as far as like being totally zoned in on sewing. But post college, I ain't gonna lie, I was just trying to make money.
Yeah,
I
I feel
wasn't
you.
even because at the time I had student loans, had a house. I was just trying to pay bills. So sewing was not something I was doing a lot of. I was dibbling dabbling. Like if I was going out of town, me and my girls, oh yeah, I'm making us some outfits, but it wasn't nothing like how it is today.
Yeah,
So I always tell people don't give up because it takes time. Like yeah, I graduated in 2012, but I didn't really get business till 2016.
yeah,
And so you just got to be patient with yourself, and you got to be patient with consumers too, because you got to learn who you doing it for, because it's not just for you.
yeah. No, I like that. So I was gonna ask you also as well because I know you said you didn't kind of get popping until 2016. So in the meantime, you were just kind of working, doing your thing, and then I know you said you liked the in Europe you were inspired by the carefree style. So in like while you were working, did you also have a carefree style like in your job and stuff like that? you,
You know I
I
did.
know you did. So but people all the
Yeah.
time, I guess, didn't maybe understand it or whatever. So I
Mhm.
guess as a creative person, can you kind of talk about that? You don't have to like detail no employment or anything, but
Yeah,
just kind
yeah.
of like like the reaction and stuff like that maybe, and
Yeah.
then how it even make kind of made you feel a little bit as just being a
Mhm.
creative. You just trying to express yourself and your creativeness.
Yeah, so being a creative, you gotta have a hard shell because
Yeah,
people are gonna talk about you. People gonna have stuff to say, whisper, and all of that. And if you are true to who you are as far as being a creative, you're gonna have to have a hard shell. And see me, I've always had a unique look about myself as a kid, having a mole on my face. So it was like I had already created this shell that I didn't even know that I was gonna need as an adult.
yeah,
So post college, well, in college, I dressed wild. Like
yeah,
I would go and I shopped at all different kind of places and just mixed and match a bunch of stuff. I was good for always cutting up stuff. Just my style was wild. I always cut my hair, bleaching my hair. Um, One homecoming at MTSU, I had MTSU carved in my head. So yeah, post college, I actually kept that up. I dialed it down just a little bit for
yeah,
work, but I still was true to who I was as far as being creative in the way that I dress. Because I feel like when I step in a room, I do want people to look. That's
yeah,
just the Leo in me. We like to be seen. So I've calmed it down a whole lot though now. But post college, I didn't care. I'm gonna
yeah.
wear what I want to wear.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, just being like even just like a black woman or something like that, and you trying to be creative, just to kind of get an idea. Do you feel like any kind of like profiling or kind of like
Hmm.
stereotyping possible, or anything that you think probably could have like hindered you maybe from doing anything because they might perceive you a certain type of way?
Yeah, I can say that because when it came to um, the job that I was at while in college, which was McDonald's, I don't
Yeah,
care to say
yeah,
that, I had purple hair one time,
yeah.
and a customer actually complained about me having purple hair.
Oh, really?
And I actually argued with that man because I was like, if I was a white woman with purple hair, you probably wouldn't have complained. But because I'm a black woman with purple hair, you're complaining. So I did have issues at some jobs with the way that my hair, especially my hair, but I never took it as a racial thing. I
Yeah,
think with that man, I was just in my feelings that day, and he was a white man. But I never took it as a racial thing. I always took it as, these jobs don't ever want to let you be who you are.
yeah. That's what I mean. Not as like a racial
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
I felt that with that
yeah,
situation, but I just feel like these jobs want you to look a certain way,
yeah,
and that's when I knew that I had to work for me because I don't want nobody trying to control how I wear my hair, how my clothes are. Just as long as I'm performing the job that's at hand, especially the main job that I had where people didn't even see me, it shouldn't even have been a complaint. But it happens, and sometimes you just gotta play by the rules,
yeah.
put on that poker face until you know that you can be at a place where you can control the narrative. But if you're not at a place where you can do that, you have to just play by the rules at that time. I'm one of those ones. I'm just gonna do the rules. I'm not gonna go against it.
Yeah,
But I didn't change my purple hair that day.
yeah. Nah, I feel
I
you.
came back in the next day with that purple hair. So yeah.
Nah, it's just funny because it's the reason why I bring it up is because a lot of people, not just yourself, but just a lot of people just had that creativeness and just had, like to express themselves. But
Hmm.
now, like you go to McDonald's, just like you said, the whole staff might have purple or some kind of hair. So
Exactly.
it's just like a weird to kind of see the change from back then to kind of now when everybody's kind of used to it or I don't know.
I think that's our culture though. Like our
Yeah,
generation now, we are boldly saying that this is who we are. You either take it or you leave it.
yeah,
And our parents and stuff had not. That was the generation that was like, no,
yeah,
black and white. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But now that we are the adults, it's like we're able to be more free. And I love that about the culture now is that people don't really judge too much as far as like you mentioned, you'll go to McDonald's and see everybody with purple hair. Nowadays, you when you see that, you're like, "Oh, girl, your hair is cute."
yeah,
Even the white man may say your hair is
yeah,
cute because we just I feel like our what's the word I'm looking for? Our morals have changed as
Yeah.
far as just being able to just be you and be happy who you are.
Nah, that's cool. All right, so I guess let's talk about now. I guess the jump from you've been working, so now I want to push and go ahead and get Rocky and Ruth off the ground. So
Hmm.
how did that come about?
So Rocky is me.
Yeah,
Ruth
I was
is
gonna ask
my
you. I was gonna ask you
yeah.
first of all, who is Rocky? I know who Rocky is,
Yeah.
but for the people who don't know, who is Rocky and who is Ruth?
Okay, so Ruth is my grandma.
Okay,
We have the same birth. I was born on her birthday,
okay,
but she passed away when I was 14. But me and her were like this. So, and Rocky is me. That's what my family have always called me, and now it's like everybody calls me that.
yeah,
But my uncle was just making a joke one day. He was like, "Won't you just call your brand Rocky and Ruth Hale?"
yeah,
And I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" But about 2 years ago, I started transitioning into the mind mental set that I want to be a full time entrepreneur, and I was scared, and I was thinking, how should I do this? Because most people think that as soon as they receive that you supposed to go ahead and jump off the porch.
yeah.
But that works for some
Some
people.
people, yeah,
It wasn't my journey, and I'm grateful for it because within these 2 years, I was able to become comfortable. Not even just financially, because that's not even half of it. It's a mental comfortableness to know that you're not going to be clocking in and having a guaranteed check every Friday,
yeah,
but I knew that my quality of work had to increase, and the only way that it could increase was with me leaving a 9 to 5. So that was like the best thing I could have done because it's less stress as well. Because I have people that come to me that need something in a week.
yeah,
Now I can provide that because this is what I'm doing full time. But back then, let me check my schedule, let me do this and move some stuff around, take some days off, and I would feel bad not being there in my 9 to 5 because I'm one of the ones. I've always been a workaholic, and I've never been a person to just not give a job my all. So calling out or taking off, using sick time, that stuff used to make me feel bad. Cause I'm like, dang, I'm not there for my team. But then I had to, shift that mindset to say I'm doing this all for a purpose, and that bigger purpose was to be a full time entrepreneur.
yeah. So I guess talk about that now. Within Nashville, not so many. I guess Nashville's not really, in my eyes, not known for fashion. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess kind of being like on the forefront, I would say because I don't. I guess I don't really not into the fashion world, so I don't even know too many
Yeah.
fashion people or creatives like that. So kind of give me some insight into like Nashville fashion.
So it's really not even Nashville fashion, honestly, because
Well,
as you said, Nashville's not known for fashion. Most of my clients, when they're coming to get something, they're leaving town.
okay,
So they're going to other cities
yeah,
and, being able to go express themselves other places than here. Now, I will say, not just even Nashville, but COVID has made a lot of people want to be comfortable, sexy for
yeah,
birthdays and events and stuff like that. And so it's almost just a trend to go comfortable, but also making a statement at the same time. So right now, as far as like what's popping, skin showing is popping.
yeah,
So it's like the less you wear, the better. I do that type of stuff. However, I prefer a lady to feel like she could be covered up and also still be sexy at the same time. So a lot of times when I do these half naked outfits, I don't even post them because that's not really what I want to do.
yeah,
But I'll do it. But that's really the trend right now is just being able to show every curve that you have as a woman. Which I guess could be a plus and a minus. It just depends on how tasteful you make it. And I think as far as men's fashion, I've been seeing men being more comfortable with fitted clothing, the skinny jean or the fitted top. And I actually like that better than what it was 10 years ago, wearing
yeah,
the
for sure.
white tees to your ankles.
Yeah,
Like I love the fact that men really don't even just sag anymore, and it's okay to wear a dress shoe, because back then they used to be lame.
yeah,
So I feel like a lot of our fashion has upscaled a lot into just being classy in a sense. And each person has their own take on what they feel is classy, but I do feel like clothing styles are being classier than they used to be.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. So with that take, like, what is your so Nashville? Just like you said, we don't have our own kind of fashion sense. So we got Rocky and Ruth. What is going to be her imprint? Do you see your envision on Nashville fashion. So somebody might think of Nashville.
Hmm.
Do you know any other designers in Nashville that you know? You
Yeah,
might can shout them out if you know what I'm saying if you wanted to. Or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I know a few. So, a couple of my what would I call them? Colleagues
yeah,
in the fashion industry. Shantae, she owns Mystic. I think it's called Mystic Designs, and then Raven Denise, she owns. It's it's spelled KPANA, but the K is silent.
yeah,
But those two girls are definitely some good seamstress in the city. We do have some other Tennesseans designers that I've met at fashion shows and stuff like that. But when people hear about Rocky and Roof, I want them to know that they can come to Rocky and Roof and get them a dress for any occasion.
any occasion.
Any occasion, from bridal, prom, like I said, birthday, baby shower, all of that. So I definitely want to be the number one dress designer in the city. I'm going to be the number one dress designer in the city because I plan on eventually having a full on storefront with products that people can just come in and shop. Now, more so with bridal, that's like my number one thing because I really enjoy making women feel beautiful on their special day.
Yeah.
So I do see myself eventually just segueing into having straight bridal stuff.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Also, something I also did want to ask because I seen that you know, I watch your social media or whatever. So I saw that you post something about some sewing classes.
Mm-hmm.
So you also, I guess, teach people how to sew or whatever. Can you kind of
Mm-hmm.
talk about that?
Yeah, so I always feel like when you get a gift, you need to pour that gift into other people
Yeah,
in some kind of way, some shape, form, of fashion. Pour your gift into other people, and so I do offer sewing classes. They're one on ones. I have a sewing class option where if you want to bring your own machine, and then I also have the option where you will leave with the machine.
mm.
So my first sewing class was actually just last year.
Oh, really?
I was so nervous. But when that girl left that class, and even a week after she followed up with me, she was like, "I really learned how to sew," and it shocked her because she had never known.
Yeah,
And then the fact that she followed up and told me that she retained the information I told her because it takes patience to teach people, and I don't know where my patience come from. People tell me that all the time. You got the patience of a saint, and I don't know where it come from, but the class is 3 hours long, and the fact that you can remember something a week later from just 3 hours with somebody, that was inspiring to me. So since then, I've had probably about 10 students total in the last year. I did a mommy and daughter group one time, and that was pretty cool because I've never taught two people at once. And then one other class I did for 6 hours because the lady wanted to make two things.
yeah,
And so we took a little 30-minute break in between and then did the other 3 hours. But during the class, you get mentoring sessions with me. I feed you if you want something to eat.
yeah,
But it's real chill. And people come in here nervous, and I'm like, don't be nervous. Like, I'm super cool. I'm not going to be one of those teachers that hit you on the hand with a ruler because you're doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. And you mess up, that's fine.
yeah,
We'll take it apart and do it again. Because it takes time to learn how to sew. It's definitely a craft that you have to keep practicing.
yeah,
But it's like riding a bike. You'll never forget it.
yeah. No, I believe you.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. So how would they get in touch with you in regards to like the classes?
So my social media handles are the same for Facebook and Instagram. At Rocky and Ruth, RAKIANDRUTH. I'll have a TikTok
Oh,
soon.
okay.
And then my email is attached to the social media handles, but it's contact Rocky at rockyandruth.com. And then my website is rockyandruth.com. But all of those connections, you can reach me. I'm a very responsive person to my DMs, to my emails. I give me at least 2 days. I'm not one of those ones who
Yeah,
feel like I'm not gonna respond. I will respond, even if it's something I don't want to do. I'm still going to respond.
yeah.
I just believe it's all about respect, and if you respect your client, they're gonna respect you back.
Cool.
Respect the consumer, they're gonna respect you back.
Yeah, nah, customer service is a big thing because a lot of people don't got it, and that makes or breaks a business
I
for
learned
sure.
from the best.
Yeah.
I learned from the best.
Yeah, nah, for
Yeah.
sure. Nah, I agree. But I just gotta ask you like the two more questions. One, because I know you gotta, as I forgot to ask you earlier, but in regards to like getting fabric, like how do you pick your quality? Well, how do you pick your fabric? Like, what makes you, I guess, choose this particular fabric, or where do you have to go to get fabric, or
Mhm.
you can get fabric anywhere, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
like what types of fabric do you look for? in regards to Rocky and Roof?
So right now, because it's a trend to have stretch in everything,
Yeah,
even no matter what you buy, even men's clothes, I got stretch in it.
yeah,
I always try to find something with a little bit of stretch.
yeah.
We do have Joann's here. We also have a store called Textiles Fabric in South Nashville. But I honestly travel to Atlanta a lot for fabric. I'll drive down there. I've traveled to Cali multiple times for fabric because we're limited here. And then I do a lot of online shopping, but mostly I'm a touchy feely person. So
Yeah.
if I'm in a fabric store, you gonna see me constantly rubbing it, pulling it, and I even do that when I'm shopping for clothes for myself.
Yeah,
I'm
I
in the
feel you.
store like,
I think most guys do that. So most girls
yes,
do
and
that.
it's a habit now to see how long this gonna last. But fabric shopping is actually eventually when I get an assistant, that'll be something I should push off to them because it can for me. I get so wrapped up in there, I could be in the fabric store for
Yeah, all day.
hours. Yeah, and so it's definitely a tedious position to
Yeah,
be in trying to find fabric, but most times my clients don't even know
yeah,
like what kind of fabric they want. They just put the trust in me to
yeah,
say I know you gonna find something because it's your work I'm wearing, so you're not gonna find nothing crappy. But I try to stay away from like thin stuff because you. I don't want somebody to feel like what they got from me, they could just go online at like Shein.com and get.
yeah,
I want you to know that you getting some good quality, something that's gonna be durable, and you can re-rock it if you want to, resell it or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one more question before I ask my last question. But
Mm.
nah, in regards to like the fabric again, like you say you can go everywhere. So what kind of pieces did you find like in Cali or even New York that you might not have found in Nashville? Like what are you seeing different there?
So what I do get in Cali that I don't get here, the prices.
The price. Oh, okay, okay.
The prices are actually better. Like sequence is a fabric that is very popping right now. That's
Hmm.
shiny, glistening type fabric, and typically, it's $30 a yard, and you need at least 2 yards to make somebody something.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's $60 off
yeah,
just for a piece of fabric, not all the extra stuff, the zipper and stuff you gotta buy for it.
yeah,
And so when you go to Cali and you're able to actually get that fabric at a discount, and I think one of the reasons too is because that's like a hot spot for because most fabric is manufactured in Asia, and I think that's just a hot spot for Asians to
yeah,
migrate to
yeah,
the coastlines.
yeah,
So they're getting a fabric probably 50 cents a yard. So it's nothing for them to sell it at $10 a yard because they're gonna get profit anyway.
yeah,
Plus, the fabric stores in Cali and New York also have more variety because those are fashion capitals. You're gonna find where that those are places where majority of your designers live. Even in Atlanta, a lot of black designers live in Atlanta,
yeah.
and so there those are three hot spots where you're gonna find some good fabric because that's where a lot of the designers are migrating to.
Cool. Yeah, that's good information. Good to know. Just in
Yeah,
case I ever want to start to sew something up,
exactly
you know what I'm saying? I
right.
know where to
You
go.
know where to
I'm
go.
just kidding. No, but I love it though. But and then I just wanted to, I guess, ask you. I guess what would you share to anybody else that would maybe be interested in kind of learning fashion or
Mhm.
anything like that? You have any kind of inspirational words to share or any kind of motivational stuff? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I did say earlier, just don't give up on your dreams. When it's something that you truly want to do, you stick to it and you fight to the end until you get there. As far as with the fashion industry, one big thing is to take mental breaks.
yeah,
You have to reset. If you do not allow yourself to reset, you find yourself becoming drained on. You have they call it designer's block.
okay,
You know how writers have writer's
yeah.
block.
I
Designers,
never heard
we
of that.
actually
Yeah,
have designer's block where we can't think of anything new. You don't want to be biting off other people. You want to come up with your own originals. And so you just have a block where you just cannot think, period, on new designs, new fabrics, etc. So it's always good to take those time out to reset, to block everything out and just allow your creative mind to build back up because we can drain it.
yeah,
And it's okay to be in them dead periods where you may not be making no money because once that reset process is over, then boom, whatever you done came up with, it's gonna sell. You finna make money. You are able to now showcase something new, and so that's definitely necessary for any designer. Just take that time to reset.
Okay, yeah, that's a good word. I think that's probably for any, that goes probably for any probably occupation, I'm sure, because definitely any kind of creative space, because just definitely kind of getting that block. But no, that's all I have for you today, Rocky. I really appreciate you letting me be here in your space, kind of seeing what you got going on.
Yeah,
It's definitely been a treat.
Well, I appreciate you for having me and being interested in interviewing me.
No, we got to know about this fashion, because hey, if I don't know about it, I ain't gonna say they don't know about it, because I know they definitely know about it. But I just be intrigued by different things, so I just try to explore different interest, different industries, not only for myself, just for anybody else that might have interest as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what's up. I appreciate you.
It's been a pleasure.